A hot high of 88 degrees on a southwest wind at 6 to 14. And although the extended forecast may look like a deluge, it won't be. It'll be scattered showers and thunderstorms mainly late in the day on Wednesday. Now, I'm thinking we might get a break for one day on Thursday, but then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, warm up around 90 with scattered mainly afternoon showers and thunderstorms. So it is midsummer, and that's a midsummer forecast. Catherine Sherry, I'll be back with an update a little later.
Okay, thanks a lot, Chris. A family's dream, a peaceful existence on some land out in the country. Now, things are different.
That's our top story on Eyewitness News at 5. Let's go to TV2's Rich Fisher, who's in the newsroom. Rich.
Thank you very much, Catherine Sherry. Once again, good afternoon, everybody. And by the way, this is new for Eyewitness News at 5. It took years for them to grow, and now they are dead. Vandalism that makes you wonder if some kind of a vendetta is involved. More than 100 trees are hacked to the ground on someone's property. We'll have a report for you. On the newspaper strike, some big-name columnists pressure their union to get back to the bargaining table. We'll bring you the latest developments. Also,
a new approach to treating the so-called computer disease. I'm health reporter Kay Lowry, and I'll have that story coming up.
And they are called the religious right, among other things, including wackos and crusaders. But what is their true mission? I'll investigate in my special report, Faith in Government. We'll have those stories and a lot more coming up in about 10 minutes from right now at 5 o'clock. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Rich. We'll see you then. And straight ahead on First News, Free Press movie critic Frank Bruni tells us about Love and Human Remains.
You may not have heard about it till now, but this movie's got it all. Love, sex, and violence. You'll see more when First News returns.
A trip.
Could I pick you up for something sometime?
I don't even know you.
You see me here all the time.
What if you turn out to be some kind of sicko?
Well, do I look sick to you?
It's always the ones that seem the most normal that turn out to be axe murderers.
Ooh, combine the movie Fatal Attraction and the hit TV show Friends, and what you get would look something like the new movie Love and Human Remains.
In the summer of big-budget films, don't overlook this one. Free Press movie critic Frank Bruni is here with some thoughts on this picture. An unusual title, anyway.
Unusual title and an unusual movie. This is definitely an unconventional one for the art house crowd, but it's not that kind of art house film that's plodding and sort of difficult to understand. It's very lively and entertaining. It concerns 6 or 7 young people in an unidentified North American city, probably in Canada. All of them are sexually confused. They're hopping into and out of various beds, and they can't figure out what they want in those beds or outside of those beds. We have a clip here that involves the two of them who are at the center of the movie, David and Candy. They're roommates. They live together, and they can't quite figure out what they want from each other. The clip will show that.
Maybe you should look at the clip then. Let's take a look.
Maybe I'd have better luck with women.
I don't know, Candy. I can't see you as a dyke.
Please, I'd be a lesbian.
Are you serial?
Slightly serial. I don't have much luck with men.
That's not an exclusively female problem.
Most of my friends are homosexuals.
So are mine, but I'm not a lesbian.
As you said, and as we've seen, this deals with sexual confusion. Who do you think this movie will appeal to?
I think this movie is going to appeal a lot to 20-somethings and 30-somethings who have come of age in a world where the choices are not as clear-cut as they were a generation ago. I think most of the characters in this movie are people who you wouldn't mind bumping into at a cocktail party. They're clever, they're articulate, they're funny. In the end, it's hard to figure out what it all means, and there's a strange subplot wed to all of this involving a serial killer who stalks the city, and eventually we begin to think one of the men in the movie may be that serial killer, and we wonder who. In the end, I'm not sure what it all means, but up until that point, it's a pretty decent ride.
Now, none of the characters in this movie are famous, big Hollywood names. How did they do?
No, this is a low-budget movie. They're all very good. The man in the scene you just saw, Thomas Gibson, is familiar from a number of art house-type movies like Whit Stillman's Barcelona. All of them are good. They're not people who you'll recognize, but I think they're people you'll want to see again. And one of them, Mia Kirshner, is someone who's done some other movies where she's played kinky characters. Here she's a dominatrix, excuse me, who happens to be psychic and who factors into the solution of who the serial killer may be.
Very
A
interesting.
psychic dominatrix, right?
It's not for people with a delicate sensibility,
Obviously.
but for people who are a little adventurous, as you said before, Catherine, it's a great alternative to the big budget action and comedy films that are so predictable during the summer.
How would you rate this movie?
I'd give it 3 stars.
3 stars. Okay. Love and Human Remains. All right, there's Frank's rating right there, 3 stars.
Thank you very
Rooney,
much.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
An Ohio teenager is doing some amazing things with a very familiar kid's toy.
That's right. He takes a blank Etch-a-Sketch and turns it into a work of art. You'll see for yourself next on First News.
Domino's nights at 7:30. It takes two.
Well, maybe back when you were a kid, you or someone you knew had one of those Etch-a-Sketch toys.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. You turn the knobs and create something. Well, now one Ohio teen has really turned Etch-a-Sketching into an art form. Fox's Mark Schroeder has the story.
He works in silence, concentrating on creating an original work that is uniquely 16-year-old George Vlasic of Lakewood. George has turned a toy into a work of art. An Etch-a-Sketch replaces canvas, but the portraits are just as lucid as Leonardo's. Even Ohio Art, the maker of the Etch-a-Sketch, came to his home to verify his work.
They decided to send someone out to the house, and just to make sure I was really doing them, and the person was amazed.
In 6 years, he has become a master at the likeness of his favorite athletes: Nolan Ryan, Cal Ripken, Paul O'Neill, Michael Jordan. From Mark Price to David Robinson, the players are amazed.
Some of the players are amazed and they can't believe it, and they're like, wow, how'd you do that? And some of the players were like, oh yeah, and they just sign it and don't think anything of it, but most of the people are just totally amazed.
What did Art Modell say when you showed him his?
He's like, oh, is that me? And I'm like, yeah, yes, that's you. Can't you tell?
George is gaining fame with articles in Sports Illustrated for Kids and Beckett's Collector's Guide. Ohio Art sends him free Etch-a-Sketches by the hundreds.
Well, we have a couple boxes of 100 down the basement. So whenever I run out, they send them to me. I kind of like to hang on to them, I don't mind selling the original art, but with the autograph, it's kind of like mine.
He hasn't made a penny off the hobby, but that seems to be just a matter of time. Mark Schrader, Fox News in Cleveland.
If you think it's easy, think again. Each Etch-a-Sketch portrait takes him 20 to 40 hours to complete.
A lot of adults have, though. There's stress relievers.
Oh, that's a
in
good
their
idea.
offices.
Good idea.
Well, coming up, a family security is shattered by a senseless act of violence in Oakland County.
That's the top story on Eyewitness News at 5 with TV2's Rich Fisher and Huel Perkins.
Kathleen Sherry, someone was either really angry or really sick. Trees planted when a family moved in years ago are chopped down in one fell swoop. TV2's Scott Lewis investigates.
A West Bloomfield teen pleads guilty to a lesser charge in a fight that left his classmate in a coma. I'm Lauren Bishop, and I'll have the story coming up.
Some of the city's top columnists may be creating dissension among the ranks of striking journalists at the News and the Free Press. I'm Mike Redford, and I'll tell you what their union has to say about it.
And the religious right. What is their real agenda in government? I'll tell you in my special report. These stories and much more this Monday, July 24th, 1995.